This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, that was weird.
Hey, so yeah,
Now we know.
that was weird. All righty, so let's go ahead and call to order. So thank you everybody for calling in tonight. This is our meeting to talk about the spring training on April 25th. Just about a month away, and so I know that there's a lot of other things going on that's coming up sooner. So everybody's busy. So let's see. We have we have Lion Brent, Beracy, PDG Brent, Nancy Hill, Vice District Governor B, Anita Hoyt, Debbie Chambers down in Florida, maybe. The second Lion Brent, and then Mike Nowak and Kelly Lubbe, and Dorothy. So did anybody have any concerns about the notes that I sent out a month ago from when we met in February? I know I had some feedback from a few folks. Pretty much kind of went through our objective at that meeting was to try to figure out what we were going to teach and when. And so since that time, we've kind of fine-tuned it. We pretty much did it that night. So we have an order of classes and who's going to follow who. So I think that's pretty well set. And I'm assuming you all have gotten a copy of the flyer. And if you'd like, I can share my screen here, and I have the agenda up on my. Let's see. This is it. Can you see that? I can't see you guys.
It's still loading.
Okay. Here we go.
There it is.
I have more things popped up on my screen. I'm not sure what that. Cheryl Bradshaw is coming in.
Okay, this is the agenda. We're looking for the flyer,
Okay, you wanted the flyer.
if at all possible.
Okay, well, I'll have to pull that up.
Well, we can talk about it later, as long as it's part of the agenda. You know,
Yeah. Well, that's actually coming up real quick here. So let me just get it here. I'm never very good at manipulating all these things.
Oh.
It may be loading now.
Well, I see that you have registration going directly to you. Do you want me to handle it? I'm handling it for the convention.
Well, I don't mind doing it.
Okay. Well, I'm
Already on there. It's already on there. My name's on there. So, you know.
Okay. What I'm doing is I'm listing things for the convention by club. So then I know if I haven't heard from a club.
Right.
And if we had the names of the clubs for Brent's district, we could do that as well, unless he's going to have someone collect it for his district.
I am actually planning on having all of the district come through me.
Okay.
So I will have that list prepared. The 15th is the cutoff in our district, so I will have everyone's information to you by the 16th.
Great. So we have the so down at the bottom of this. Let's see if I can get this to move. So down at the bottom is the link, this link. And Brent, you guys can use this as well. Can everybody see that? I mean, are you guys seeing the flyer now or not?
No, we're
No.
seeing the agenda.
Okay. So I'll go back to this other. It should be up.
I'm not seeing anything, but that's okay.
I hate it when that happens, B.
I see, said the blind man to the deaf boy who was listening to the radio.
There you go, Roger. We see it now.
Okay. Okay, so here's
Looks great.
And Cheryl just joined us a minute ago.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
So this is what we sent out to the district, and it was in the newsletter when the newsletter came out. So it kind of gives you the idea of what the cadence of the evening is. We'll actually the registration opens at 5:30, maybe a little earlier than that. We'll be there earlier than that to get everybody set up and going. Like at our last meeting, we talked about 4:30, having people get to the school and start figuring out. We'll know where the rooms are going to be. We'll have that already set up, and so we'll have signage to show you where the rooms are going to be. And so then at 5:45, Annette can give her welcome. We'll be having our sandwiches during that time. We'll talk about that a little later. But this is how the sessions are set up. The membership roundtable with Brent and Cheryl, and then following them will be the opportunities roundtable, where people can talk about stepping out of the club and serving beyond that level. My Lion and service reporting is going to be in the first session, and that one based on recent events will probably be fluctuating in terms of how that's presented, because of the new, they're introducing now the new portal, and so there are lots of videos. There are videos available to watch, but I don't think the system will be in place at that time. But I'm not sure, and Brent, you may have a little better idea about that. If the system is actually going to be usable at that time. Well, if any system is usable at that time.
It's going to be right during the time that they're implementing it. So it's going to depend on where you're at as far as where the implementation will be happening. So by May 13th, everyone should be involved. So we're just going to play it by ear.
So we're probably going to use this as an introduction to show people what it looks like. Of course, the original intent of the session is to talk about service reporting, and I think you mentioned in an email that service reporting itself may not be that much different, but where you do it is going to be different. Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah, just where you find the My Lion is going to be different.
Okay. And I don't want to get into the weeds on that right now, but I do have questions.
Thank you.
And then the secretary class, which is Dorothy is going to be after that in the same room. We'll use the same room. And then the tail twister. Now the tail twister, I think we're going to have Chris in a different room than one of the 4 classrooms we've been using, only because she needs some space. And so we have another room that's kind of off to in the corner as you walk in. It's sort of on the right-hand side of the aisleway that is pretty open, and she used that once before and it worked out really well. Last year was real crowded with the classroom desks, so we're going to have her off to the side, and then so there won't be anybody in the room where Nancy you'll be probably, or you can pick any room you want, I suppose. But then we're going to have Treasure Barry is going to do the treasurer class, and then Kelly is going to follow him, and she's going to use his equipment. So that's kind of the thinking on that one is so she doesn't have to bring anything. She'll bring a thumb drive, and then she'll use Barry's equipment to make her presentation on time management. So here now is the link. This is a Google link, and basically it takes you to a site where you can fill in your name, your email address, your telephone number, what class you want to take, what your role is. I forget what else is on there. Or they can contact me, and then I will put them into the. I'll probably put them into that Google form. Makes it really easy because it comes out as basically it comes out as a spreadsheet, and so you've got a list of everybody that's at least signed up and what they're signed up for. Or they can mail it to me. They can call me, or they can email or mail it to me. So we didn't put a form on the bottom of this because we had too much information. So we're hoping that we put down what we need to have. So hopefully people can put that into an email or write it on a piece of paper, or whatever they need to do, and then send it to me if that's how they're going to do it.
Roger, we'll plan on having this flyer in the packets that are given to all the attendees at the convention. And I'll also send a reminder out a couple weeks before the due date.
Anybody have any questions about this and that, or I was going to go back to the agenda because there's a couple of things about that. So any other questions on the flyer itself? Okay, hearing none, we'll go back to anybody else here? Okay, here we go. Okay, are we back?
Yep.
Okay, so that was like the second item on my agenda was the third flyer. The flyer has been distributed to the clubs, was in the newsletter. We're going to promote it at the convention. And then I think somebody asked me if I would speak about it, maybe you, Nancy, but I wasn't sure when, in that fun-filled packed day that we're going to do that.
I don't have an exact time, but it'll be after lunch.
Okay.
Shortly after lunch, we're going to have a period of time for the band students to come up, and someone will be talking about what the band is doing. And I thought then maybe after that, we could have you come up and say a few words about the training as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll be glad to do that.
Thank you.
And now the other part of this is please, zone chairs, talk to your clubs, encourage them to come. No doubt we're going to be, well, we won't meet really until about the middle of April meeting, but I'll send a note out to everybody encouraging the zone chairs to get with their clubs and really push them to come to training. One of the things that when we had our last meeting with the zone chairs, one of the things that was pointed out was that a lot of times if clubs are struggling, it may, not always, but sometimes it's because nobody's ever been to a district event. So, to find out what's really going on and meet some people and make some networks, build some networks and that sort of thing. So we really want to encourage it this year. So registration, kind of talked about that already. April 16th is when we'd like to know. Really, because we want to make sure that we've got adequate facilities, at the school to handle everybody and also to order food. So it's helpful to know that. So even if you're presenting, and even if you're just coming to the training event, go ahead and go to that Google link and try it out so that you at least know how to do it. So when somebody asks you, maybe you can let them know that it's not that hard. But if they just really don't want to do that at all, then just make sure that they call me. So we talked about logistics at the last meeting. We just looked at the flyer setup, 4:30 to 5:30. Right now I've got Jim Phelan and B as the sign-in registration people. Kelly volunteered to sell 50/50 tickets, and anybody else can help her that would like to. Anybody want to volunteer for that?
Sure.
Sure. Michael says he will. All righty. Dorothy said she would too.
I don't want to get sandwiches this year.
So I'll order the I'll order the stuff. I actually have my receipt from last year, so I kind of know what I ordered last year, and I'm assuming it was enough food. Does anybody remember?
We had just a few sandwiches left, and we gave it to the custodians. So it was perfect. It wasn't a huge amount.
So we know how many people came last year, so we'll kind of base it on that and how many we think we're going to have this year. Nancy or the VAndercook Lake folks willing to pick that up, bring it over, and set it up and serve it?
We can do that.
Kind of the way
We have a, pardon me?
Kind of the way we've been doing it in the past.
Yep, we can do that. We have a meeting on Wednesday, so I'm sure Jim will bring that up, and if nobody else wants to.
He already committed him, so.
Yeah, he did. If nobody else wants to pick up the food, I can do that, and I'm sure they'll come help. So we'll remind them.
Yes. All righty. So Annette can give her welcome. I think we had down for Barry to bring his karaoke machine, which actually does a really good job. It's a great speaker system, and so she can do her greeting during that time. So we'll start at 6 and then continue to 8 o'clock with a break in between. About a 20-minute break, actually, the way it looks, but so there's a flexibility for questions and that sort of thing. And then Anita had a great suggestion last time that anybody not involved in a session, the second session, could start helping to clean up so we can get out by 8:30. Anything on the logistics that I have a little question mark for anything else that I forgot on the agenda. Make a note here. Okay. So let's go down to the presentation stuff now. And so this is where I'd like to find out anybody that's on the call that knows what they might need for equipment and or internet connections. It's been pretty complicated the last couple of years trying to do Zoom because we had to have 4 different internet connections for each room, and it was just kind of hectic, I'll just say. And as most of you know. So now the membership, I've got these two. So the way I have them listed is session 1A and 2A. So that's session 1 and 2 in the same room. Okay. So the membership roundtable is first with Brent and Cheryl. And do you guys think you would need any equipment for that? Or are you thinking that it might be just a conversation, or would you want to slide, to show anything like about mission 1.5 or, go ahead, Brent.
Lion Roger. I spoke with Lion Cheryl last week, and then I touched base with Lion Terry just a few moments before the Zoom session kicked off. Um, right now, I'm going to plan on bringing my own equipment. So I will have a projector, laptop that will connect to that for the membership roundtable. We're actually planning on having me just kind of go right. Oh, actually, it'll likely be both Cheryl and I just flow right into Lion Terry's session. And Lion Cheryl, sorry, I haven't had a chance to talk with you since I talked to Terry, but we are looking to try to get together to talk about how we're going to blend all of our sessions together. So, Lion Roger, what we're looking to do is just have that 20-minute intermission for our sessions. May only just be enough time for folks to filter in and out when they're ready to go to their next session. So we're just going to try to keep our session flowing for the full 2 hours so that people can drop in and out as they decide.
Okay. All right. So I've been talking to a few people about like who might participate, and maybe you've got some folks. But the one group that we did want to participate in yours is the Grass Lake folks.
Yeah, Lion Cheryl can tell us some more about that for sure.
And so I had touched base with Debbie, who was their zone chair, and she had let me know that they were kind of curious as to what they needed to talk about. Well, I sent a note to Debbie, but I didn't have I think her name is Gina. I think Debbie, if you're still on, you can correct me. But I hadn't actually talked to her, so I tried to call her this afternoon just to touch base with her, and because I wasn't sure if Debbie was going to pass the information along or what. So, but anyway, we're very interested in the Grass Lake, somebody from Grass Lake, and even more of it to talk about how they worked their community meeting, and ended up with 17 new members. So that's an exciting thing, and a lot of clubs are
very exciting.
I've talked to clubs, and they're like, yeah, we're going to do that, so.
Roger, if you can give me some contact information, I'll try and make contact as well, because I would like to discuss with them what the roundtable is going to be like and answer any questions they might have beforehand.
Okay. I will do that.
Are there any other clubs that you're aware of that want to?
Well, excuse me. I think the Cascades Lions Club is interested in doing that. I'm not sure about VAndercook Lake, but I think Cascades for sure. And there may be other groups. But if I think of them and know of them, I will pass that along and see if
which would be great. That way we can actually moderate and fill in as we go along, and kind of let people know what they're doing and go from there.
Right. Okay. So you guys are going to be working with Terry then, and
yes.
Well, that'll be good. That'll be good. And Hope and Scott Swank have agreed to participate in the Opportunities to Serve session because they're relatively new Lions and have jumped in with both feet and hands and head and do just about everything there is to do in Lions. Okay. So they're going to be great panelists, I think, for that. And I would say there's other people that are very, would be great examples of folks if to do that if they wanted to. Mike Nowak is one of those.
Right online, Mike.
But we'll work. I'll let you guys work that out. I'll throw you some suggestions, and I'll let you guys work that out how you want to do it. Okay, that's fair enough. Great. So on the next set of classes, my Lion and service reporting, I know that Dave he'll need an internet connection, which it won't be hard to get an internet connection. It's just hard to get multiple ones. So in order to do what he needs to do. Now, I guess, okay, so back to Brent. Are you guys going to need an internet connection, or do you think You'll be
We
okay.
should not need internet connection. We'll have everything already
Okay.
downloaded for display.
Okay, great. So I know that Dave is going to need an internet hookup, and he'll need a projector and a screen and a laptop. We have used the schools and they do work. So Nancy, I don't know if that's his preference.
Roger, he'll probably bring his own laptop.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah, I figured he'd have his own laptop, but
yeah, and then if we can use the projector and screen for the school, if somebody can help him get that set up, then he should be good to go. And if you have an internet connection, that would be great. If that doesn't work, he has a hotspot on his phone that he could use.
Well, it should, like I say, it shouldn't be an issue to get the internet connection.
Okay.
So I don't think that'll be a problem.
Yeah, so if he can just have some help.
But if he had his hotspot, then as a backup, that's never a bad idea.
Yeah, so if he can just have help connecting to the projector and getting the screen going.
And we've got cords, we've got long cords that we can use to hook the laptops up to those connectors, those projectors that are hanging from the ceiling.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be an issue. There's one room that doesn't have a screen, and I know Barry's bringing his own screen, so he's bringing all of his equipment. On Dorothy will be the same. She'll use the same stuff that Dave has. Tail Twister, as I mentioned earlier, she doesn't really use technology at all, but she just needs space. So we're going to find the room that's going to work best for her. And then Nancy, you're doing the presentation, and I'm assuming you'll need a laptop and a projector. You'll bring your laptop, right?
Yeah, I'll bring, same as Dave, I'll bring my laptop. If somebody can help me hook it up to the projector and the screen, that'd be great. And like with Dave, if we don't have internet, I can use my hotspot.
Okay. So I think so it sounds like we're really the only one I'm pretty sure we're going to need is the one for Dave, Dave and Dorothy, because most of what they're going to do is online. So, they're going to need to be online so that they can demonstrate whatever needs to be demonstrated, show videos or whatever. So, any questions on that at all? Are we good there? Let's move up to so any copies. How about handouts? I'm sure somebody's going to have handouts, and I can make some handouts, or I can make copies over here in Battle Creek for, as long as they're not color copies, they're free. So I could make a lot of copies. If the Jackson Chamber of Commerce discount is available, and it's easier to do things over at Jackson, we can do that as well. It just maybe if anybody on the call that needs handouts, let me know, and then we can kind of figure out where we're going to do it.
Our district's no longer part of the chamber.
Sorry?
Our district is no longer part of the chamber.
Oh, okay.
So we have no chamber discount anymore.
Okay. What they do? Raise the price on you?
They didn't want to renew it at the cabinet meeting.
I see. All right.
Roger, for mine, I think what I'll do is just get the email addresses of the participants in my class, and I'll email them my PowerPoint in case they want that for reference.
Okay. It's hard to read those, unless on a 40 slide presentation. It's hard to read those little screens, those little pictures of the screens. So I often wonder how much value they are, but a lot of people like them so they can make notes, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, so let's see. Now, Brent and Cheryl, do you think you would have any handouts?
I don't know yet until, after we meet we'll check it out. If so, we can email them to you for printing.
Okay.
Yes, yes. We're going to have some things that we are going to hand out. We're going to discuss that at our meeting this coming week. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Brent and Cheryl. I don't know about Dave. I don't know. I know there's a secretary's ebook. You know, usually we print out the ebooks for the different officers, and we can do that.
If it hasn't changed, I have 8 from last year.
Yeah, we have some from last year. We actually have some presidents ones from last year that I didn't throw away that I still had. So we have some of that. But anybody that needs anything, please email me, and we can, if it's on, you know, if you have a presentation. Sometimes, like a presentation, it's going to be difficult to email. If you have that you want to, I mean, it's not difficult to email, but sometimes they can be quite big if there's a lot of pictures. So we'll just have to look at that. Okay, so then I would say we would need to have those to me at least a week beforehand. So, well, the 16th or that week. I think the 16th is that like a Wednesday or something? I don't have my.
No.
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Okay, the 16th is a Tuesday, so probably like by Wednesday, the 17th of that week, if I could have everybody's stuff or before, and so I can be making the copies. Okay, club officers. So the next one I had was content. What are we going to use? And now Chris Lake has her own show. She does a great job. It's a very entertaining class to go to, as Brent will attest. She does a great job. So she doesn't, you know, she does her thing. As far as like the club officers, and I know that I have actually seen Barry's, because I think he did it at one of the forums. It was either a forum or one of the conventions. He was a speaker, and he went through his presentation for that. So, and I don't know if that's one that he's made himself from LCI's, you know, curriculum, if they have a curriculum. You know, Nancy is. I know you did this 2 years ago, and so what kind of a curriculum do you typically use for that?
Yeah, I'll update what I did before. It's a combination. I've referred to what's in LCI and then added my own things as well.
Okay. And then and so then Dave, you know, Dorothy's familiar with what Dave, she's been through the secretary training a couple of times, and so she's familiar with what and she's going to kind of prepare her own presentation as well. I don't know if you want to talk about it, Dorothy.
When we've had the new folks that were going to be secretaries come in, they had just lots and lots of questions, not about taking notes, but what they're responsible for and the timeline and how to do things. And it's been interesting because we had probably 2 or 3 clubs that still did everything pencil and paper. And so they were talking about saving records and totes in the garage. And I want to show them how I keep electronic records, and how that when it goes to the next person, you can either just transfer the files or put it on a thumb drive, and they can put it on theirs, and then they're there. They can be transferred on that way. There was also lots of questions about, as the secretary, about the when you have new members, how much you need to keep on hand. to be able to have your new member and your sponsorships and things like that. So I think it's more people understand about taking the notes. It's more about how to be a secretary for the Lions Club is what they're really interested in.
And of course, the new portal is going to be a source of great stress, I'm sure. So, well, hopefully that.
I actually think it seems logical. I mean, it's like when I've looked at it, not having to go back and forth between the two different places, I think is going to be good once you get used to it.
So here's my question, Brent. If is my lion going to be in the same spot as my LCI? Same location?
So when you say same, that means it would be the same as it is today.
Well, I
And the
mean,
answer
the
to that
same
is no.
No, I didn't mean that. So in the new portal, the way I looked at it, it looks like you've got a screen there, and you've got different buttons for things. And so in that screen is my Lion service reporting in the same location as my LCI member updates and those sorts of things, and member access.
So yes. However, it doesn't have a dedicated icon at this point. So it's just like at the top of our My LCI screen now, it's got my club, my district, my multiple district. Well, at the top of the new Lions portal, it'll say my members, my service, my my multiple district. And so they'll click on my service, and instead of going to my Lion there, they'll just be able to enter service in a data manager very similar to what we have now.
Okay.
It's just you're not going to be clicking a separate app to go to enter the service. It's all going to be on that same page, and you'll be able to easily go. You can enter service, you can enter membership, you can you do all of that all from the same web page for the most part. So it should just make better sense to everyone who has been using it. It should be easier, but for those who just are still refusing, it's going to be the same challenge.
So the service chairperson currently has rights to enter service and approve service, I think, in my Lion. Will they have that same right, that same privilege in the new portal?
The permissions are not supposed to change.
Okay. So, but they could go into my Lion, but they couldn't go into my LCI and make member changes.
Correct. And they will not be able to do membership changes. They will be able to, every member will be able to see and update their own membership, however.
I see. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think so too.
Okay. All righty. Well, it's going to be a learning process, I'm sure. And so we may be organizing some additional training sessions too, as we go through this process, I'm sure. So buckle up, as they say, right? Okay. So now as I was talking to Kelly before most people came on, so when we set the date for April 25th, I was pretty sure that I contacted the school and told them that the date we wanted to do the training next year, but I can't find an email where I did anything like that. So I have a little bit of anxiety about that. And but they've always been real good, and they know kind of when we're doing it. So I did send them a note today, and I said, hey, I just want to confirm that we're going to be at your place on April 25th and have a bunch of people there. So anyway, just to let you know that I'm pretty sure we're okay, and they've always come through for us. They are really good there at VAndercook Lake High School, and they've just been wonderful, for many, many years, really. So they always say, "We'll see you next year." So, and what a great thing to have that. It's like they don't charge us, for that time. just as long as we get their custodians out, so they don't have to pay them overtime. It's, I think, what they care about. So I'm going to try to schedule a tour, stop off over there one of these days. We've done this in the past, but I want to kind of take another look at the rooms, because one of the things we had trouble with last year was the lighting in the rooms and how the slides in some of the presentations were either visible or not visible. And the room was either pitch black or so light that you couldn't see the slides. So I want to kind of take a look at the rooms and see which ones appear to be the best, and then make our room assignments based on that. So I'm not sure when that's going to happen. That was one of the things I sent them a note about today, was scheduling something in early April to go on one of my trips over to Ann Arbor, to stop in there and just take a look see at the rooms. If anybody is interested in doing that with me, just let me know.
Roger, I'd be happy to join you for that, especially if it's after the convention.
Yes, it'll be after the convention.
Okay,
Yes, nothing's going to happen before the convention.
good.
Except Easter.
Except Easter, right?
Okay.
So egg hunts. So, okay. So my last item on the agenda is what else? What have I forgotten? What do we need to consider that we haven't talked about?
You're getting all of ready for all the subs from Subway for the food.
I will order that stuff, Jim.
Okay.
And if your guys could pick it up, that'd be wonderful. Bring it over to the school.
I'm sure they will.
You're hesitating. You're hesitating there. Like
I got all that.
Like it'll be Jim.
I got all that pop winter camp to get rid of too. You know.
Well, I've got a bunch of water, so
Pop water.
so bring it. So bring it. Well, we can work on, if we need to work on a menu. I do have. I was telling these guys I have my order, my actual sales slip from last year when we did this, and so I kind of know what we ordered last year, so that won't be such a known. And if we need other things, like I usually don't order cookies from those guys because they're too expensive, so we may get some cookies and that sort of thing, desserts from Sam's, so we can get that taken care of.
Roger, will the Subway order be paid for when VAndercook picks it up?
Well, I'm going to try to. I was able to do that for winter camp last year. For some reason, they didn't want to let me prepay it, and I don't know why, but I had to pay for it like that day when they were picking it up.
Okay.
So I think I
That
came.
was a question.
Yeah, I think I came in a little bit early and paid for it. Then I took off to the school, and then the VAndercook Lake folks were actually there. They were actually already there, ready to get it. So we were all there at the same time, pretty much. Okay.
What time do you want them there this year?
Well, what did we do last year? Was it like 5 o'clock?
Something like that.
Well, yeah. We're going to plan to eat at 5:30.
I think I was sick that day, so I didn't show up.
That's right. You weren't there. So probably 5 is okay. Dorothy said 4:30.
Roger,
a little early.
I would say 4:30 or 4:35, because in case they're not ready, it prioritizes them very quickly.
Yeah.
Because we have a hard stop at 5:30.
Yeah, that's when we're serving people. So yeah, let's make it 4:30, and then we can get all set up and make sure everybody's ready and dive in. So good suggestion, Anita.
If you want, Roger, if you want, I can make dessert.
Okay. What would
I
you
can
like to
come
make?
up with cookies or sheet cake or something, and then dessert is homemade and taken care of.
Okay. That's better than
So
a Sam's Club
cookies,
cookie
so
pack.
no utensils.
That sounds great. So Anita for
This is the you want Anita to make dessert. My
Yes, you-
phone
If
disconnected
I
me.
make it for others, I eat less of it. That's why I offer. I like to bake. I don't like to eat, dessert the third day in a row.
right. Okay. All right. Fantastic. That's great.
And Kelly has
so-
a question.
Go ahead, Kelly. Thank you.
Do you see the hand in the corner or no?
Yeah.
I can see
Yes.
it. I just wasn't looking. I was making
Okay.
it. Go
Just
ahead,
checking. So who's doing your registration at the door?
Kelly. Jim and B.
The registration at the door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so let's see. Let's talk about that because last year, so there's two doors. There's like the location. What I have in my head is the location at the end of the hallway, as you would make a left to go down to where the classrooms are, and we have a table typically set up there where people kind of sign in. Is it better to have them more towards the first door that people walk in on that end of the building and have them sign in there, or walk on down the hall? And we always need to have somebody up at that end to say, go that way.
Well, because last year when I was doing the 50/50s, I was at one door and nobody knew where to go.
So you were at that, were you at the first
I was at the front door when you first walk in doing 50/50s.
the front door? So thinking
what
about
I'm hearing,
where the school is, so like it's kind of a side door. There's the main entrance that you could walk in under the covered, but then a lot of people were coming in the side door, which goes directly into that hallway where we're kind of out of, where we're at.
Roger, could we put a sign outside that say use this entrance?
Sure.
And I think that would make it a little bit easier. And it probably would be good to have the registration table somewhere between that door and where they were last year. So midway points, you can have a section where they still do the 50/50 up there. Because usually by the time they get down to the hallway to make that left, there's food down there and you come up with a big congregation of people, which makes it a little difficult with
Right.
the check-in.
Yep.
So I think if you moved it down by that door, it would be better.
Door, right where you have to turn in the hallway, so you can direct them right down there.
Yeah, but that area get congested because people stop and talk while you're looking up names, and it kind of messes with the flow of traffic.
Yeah.
what about a greeter at the door directing people where to go?
Well, I think we need all that. I think we need a greeter at the door. We'll put a sign out. And if people came last year, people knew to come to that door for some reason. I don't know if somebody was outside directing them in. Or they
That's
had,
where all the cars were parked.
yeah, they had the door propped open, I guess. Dorothy said. So we'll have a greeter there at that door, and they will direct people down the hallway. I like Cheryl's idea of having the registration like halfway down, because it is a few steps from that outer door down to the hallway. And so if we have our registration alongside there, not blocking people, but like on the side, and then have a big sign that says registration, people can stop there and they can sign in and make sure that we have them marked off that they've signed in. And then they can go down and maybe have the 50/50s, like in that spot where we've done registration before, before they go over to where they're going to eat and have classes.
I'm sorry, I didn't do 50/50s last year. It was a year before.
Okay.
VAndercook did it last year.
Right. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. If you want to, do you still want to do it, Kelly?
Yeah, I just had a question about registration.
Yeah.
Who was doing it? Who was marking off the names?
Right now, like I say, right now we have Jim, Phelan, and B. Furman. Now, if anybody else would like to participate in that, I'm sure that, you know, another person there is not going to be a problem.
Or if you don't want me there, just say so.
I didn't say that.
No, I know.
I didn't say that at all.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know. So okay, we'll leave it at that at this point, and I'll write that up. But we've got some little maps that we can use to kind of mark things out. So I'll look at those and see what I can do with it. Okay, other questions?
Since we have people coming who've never been to VAndercook Lake High School, is the address very clear on the flyer?
1000 East Goth Street.
If you use GPS, it took us right there last year.
Yes, and the parking, it drops you right into the parking lot, right where you're supposed to be. So yeah, it's plenty good.
Trying to think of those people who aren't, you know, I get in the car and yes, I punch it into my phone, but I always find myself looking up the address before I put it in my phone. You know, I always do that. So if you can just type it in, it's just that much faster, especially for people who have to drive an hour or so to get there.
The address is right at the top of the form.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. It's all by itself. So we say reservation by April 19th, I guess is what we say. I thought it was the 16th. My dyslexia is kicking in. All right. And we can put, you know, we can put another sign up near, not on the road, but at least, you know, kind of at the beginning of the parking lot with an arrow to say, you know, go this way.
There, off of McDivitt, there is a sign directing you to the high school, I believe, isn't there, Jim?
Should be one at Maurice, the one that goes down by the bus barn, because you don't want to go down Murray's Court because everybody parks on both sides of the street and gets a little crowded, you know.
They play basketball.
Could maybe put
Or
a sign on
if
there.
you're coming from in town, you just hit Goff Street off of Francis and take it straight in, you know.
Got a dog snoring in the background here. I don't know if you can hear that or not. So somebody, I just because I can't see you all, I want to make sure I know who all was here. We had.
Well, you can close your agenda down.
Okay, you guys ready? Had seen enough of that. You guys, I sent it to you anyway. So, so let's see who's. This is B, I think, down here. Oh, she got disconnected, so she came back in. Okay. So we had B, Jim, Anita, Mike, Cheryl, Nancy, Brent, and Kelly, and Dorothy.
The joys of having a house phone still.
Yeah.
Debbie
Thank
Chambers.
God.
Looks like we lost Brent, but
And
Debbie.
Debbie.
For meeting.
and Debbie. Did Debbie ever really sign in? She was here for a minute. I know I had a
She
question for her.
tried, despite her Florida vacation.
I'll have to send her a big thank you for making the effort. So, okay. Now, is there a reason to meet again, or can we just talk about things at the convention if we need to? I don't know that we need.
Well, like I said to Annette last night, if you think we need a meeting the week before or the week of, call a meeting. Those of us who are available will show up.
All righty. So that would be Monday. That would be a Monday, possibly the 15th.
Either the
22nd.
5th or the 22nd.
22nd or the 15th. Okay. April 15th. Tax day. can't wait. All righty. Well, thank you all for coming in tonight, and I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to a lot of people learning a lot of things. And Kelly, I think your presentation is going to be, you know, a lot of people are going to want to do that, you know, because it's like nobody has time to do anything. So, you know, you're going to teach them, you're going to train them up right, right?
Yeah, I'm bringing my whip.
So you're going to use Barry's technology stuff, right? So you don't need anything other than a thumb drive for whatever.
Need to plug it in.
Good deal. All righty.
Thank you for all your hard work, Roger.
Well, thank you guys. I know you guys are doing double duty because I'm not involved in the convention. So
Are you guys all signed up for the convention?
you guys are doing a
Anita
great
got
job.
our check today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody else? How about everybody else?
Mike is, but I know your club is meeting on Wednesday, as I
Yes.
understand that.
Yes.
Cheryl Bradshaw is signed up as of last night. Jim Phelan and Nancy were signed up a week ago. I received your check, but I already had your name down, Roger, for winter camp. And so everyone on this call is signed up except for Mike.
Right.
He's
Our
gonna
meeting is on
close it in on Thursday.
I have one student, Allison Morrison, is coming with 3 guests.
Okay,
I'm waiting
Got it.
on the response from the other 2.
okay, got it.
Hey, Michael, do you have there's a young man that was part of that group that met with you guys in last, whenever, early this month, that is, I think he's from Camden. Is that
Yes.
Connor.
Nathan.
Oh,
Nathan.
Nathan.
Nathan's the one from
Nathan.
Camden Frontier.
okay.
He's a freshman, and
No,
he's
he's an 8th grader.
pretty squared away. He's in the middle school band and in the high school band.
Well, I had
Plays
heard
in
that
both.
he was interested in composing,
Yes.
and I have a contact with a young man who did a concert for us, who was just entering his master's program in Canada, and he is a composer, and he's very interested in working with younger people that want to do that. So I wanted to try to maybe hook those guys up, you know.
Okay, he's going to be at the convention, so.
All right, good.
Yep.
I'll have the guy's contact information, but he's very interested in helping people learn how to compose. So,
Yep.
Okay. Well, great. It's 8 o'clock. Time to enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay.
Thanks again, everybody.
You're welcome.
Thank
right.
you.
Everyone have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Cheryl.